If you knew that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality, would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Welcome, everyone. I'm not Wendy Paquette, but I have the honor and privilege of introducing Wendy to the new online platform called Crossroads to Awakening. Welcome to your show, Wendy.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you for introducing me and bringing me into this beautiful space.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad you chose to come to play with us. So everyone, I'm Christine McCover. I am the CEO and founder of the Inspired Choices Network. And Wendy and I have known each other for a few years now, and we've been talking about this, and now her show has decided to step up and start to play here with us. And we are so excited. So your show, Wendy, is Crossroads to Awakening. It's such a cool title, and yet I really want to know more. What does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, well, it's a humanity thing, I feel. It's more being the invitation to awaken to what you've always wanted to be. Like finally stepping into something. We've called this crossroads into our path right now, being April 6, 2020, in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. Mm-hmm. And it has brought to our attention the possibilities that we've been longing for. So whatever it looks like, if we really just sat down and actually perceived it, like imagined everything we've been wanting up until today being possible now because we've called it forward. So that's pretty much what the doors of awakening are. It's like, okay, you're here. Your human potential is already within you. So now we're going to amplify it by bringing it into your face. And not for everyone, it's not really a great thing because they're being faced with things that they didn't really want to be faced with. They've been ignoring for a really long time. So I guess right in this moment, the Crossroads to Awakening are at an all-time high.
Yes, your show hit the ground running.
It so did. And to think that we had decided, I decided or chose the show long before the pandemic was even around. So right. What did it and I know that's showing up now?
so much. Oh my gosh, this is exciting because, you know, I feel right now, like I've been saying a lot to a lot of different people, is we need the conscious leaders to step up. We need them to step up and speak, and I'm so thrilled that you are here, that you are going to be showing us some of the amazing ways that we can actually be and move through and beyond this challenge, this current challenge, and all other ones going forward. And not just the challenges, but also, you know, the potential of what we can be enjoying and creating in our lives and in our businesses and in our relationships everywhere. This is super, super thrilling. Okay, so before we dive in a little bit more, I just want to tell people a little bit about you. So Wendy Paquette is a human potential wizard with a background in human development, leadership coaching, deep state theta meditation, quantum healing hypnosis therapy, energetic interference patterning of DNA, energy medicine, access consciousness, Yuen Method, and business. You won't be surprised to know that she had what she calls an enlightenment experience and woke to know the holographic multiverse in oneness. Wow, I have a billion questions about all of that. The divine gift that was delivered to her in an instant allowed her to see, read, and transmute mind frequencies that are held in the brain and used against you, wreaking havoc everywhere you look. What she does with the discovery is nothing short of a modern-day miracle or instant mental manifestation. To see her story as played out in her first interview can be seen, and we've got a link we'll put into the replay here. But oh my gosh, Wendy, tell me all about you and what does all of that mean?
It sounds like a lot. What I'm listening to you say it out loud. It's a lot of things, but I feel like it is a part of my personal history that has created my life now. All those things that I've been a part of, those experiences that I've had with doing energy work and healing work and leadership work and everything, pulled me into a position where I was forced to make demands on myself as a human and as a, an energetic spirit being on this planet from a space that I was deeply sad. So I could put on a happy face all the time. I could tell people what they were required to know in that moment, or support them with healing, or do all these really crazy magical things, actually. And when they left and all is said and done, I sat with myself in this deep sadness that, to me, in the it got to a point where it was like unacceptable, completely unacceptable. And so that started my very speedy, instant journey into understanding the multiverse in oneness.
Mm-hmm. So how long ago was this that this really started for you?
Well, my whole life I've been curious about energy and like otherworldly things. Let's just say from the ages of, I think I was 16 when I believe my first boyfriend did telekinesis, which at the time we didn't know it was telekinesis. We just thought that he was, crazy. he was moving things with his hands, like bringing things back and forth in his hands, physical things from like thin air, basically. It was magic, but it was beyond that, because magic is supposed to be something that is, sleight of hand or illusionary. But this was something he was actually doing. And so that opened the gateway to my curiosity, and it never stopped from there. So one thing led to another, to the healing work, because the energy of that possibility that somebody could actually, with their mind, make something appear in their hand and then disappear as well, to me, was something I could never let go of. And it's been a lifelong search to discover how could that be so, and how could we use that to our best ability. So fast forward to my one moment of massive demand. I'm like, okay, if this is possible, which I've seen it, so I know it to be true. So that's key number one. I knew it was possible. Then what am I here for? Why am I here? And what can I be that's greater than I've ever been before to serve, the human world now? And I want it now. Like the demand was now. I don't mean in, the near future, next week, next month, next year. No, I was like demanding. I was me looking at my own self in my own eyes, in the mirror, in my bathroom, making demands that were, well, I guess they were big. They were really big. And so what came after that was an enlightenment experience. And that was in 2014.
In 2014?
So, yeah.
A few years ago. So you've been, your accolades of all of the things that all of the training and education you've taken is so robust, incredibly robust. And what's the experience like when people connect with you today that want to work with you?
Well, it depends on where they're coming from, I suppose. I have not done a really great job at being out there in the public. I get a lot of my clients from referrals. However, every time I speak with someone, there's something that occurs in our energy fields that allows them to know that I know something about them that they're longing for. Something about their soul that's just screaming out for possibility and nowness. My new made-up word. And when we're having conversation, I can see into their possibilities, into their dreams, into their visions as to what they'd like to be. And I can also read and see their frequency of what's blocking them. And all of that aspect of it comes from their brain, the programs they've written in their mind and decided that are true for them. So it's a really interesting thing. So when they come to me, it's more of they have an issue, they're at a crossroads. They don't know what they want, but they want something. They don't know how to get it because they're not sure what it is, but it gets to happen now. It's almost a replica, or kind of looked like a replica of what I made the demand of myself. Like I was like, I want it now. I don't know what it is, but drop it on me, right? So they have those same things, only how they're seeing it is that their life isn't working, right? Something isn't working. they could have been in a corporate job for a really long time, and they just have that sudden moment of pause where they get to see themselves for real and go, is this my life? Like, is this really it? Like, this is how I'm going to spend my life, when they have so many other things that they long to do on a daily basis, and they've locked themselves into a corporate career. So in those moments, they suddenly know that whatever it is that I possess will support them in achieving that. And so that's when we start working together, that's what happens. So I liken it to like, it's almost like instant manifestation, because the shift occurs in your mind first, which is instantaneous, and then it reflects outward, which is the manifestation.
Very cool. Very cool. Your clients are lucky people to have you in their lives. And we're lucky to have you on the network now, so we can tap into all your brilliance. I love what you posted for today's first show. The doors to human awakening are open and amplifying our potential. What does an unleashed human awakening look and sound like? Is human spiritual awakening inevitable now? Let's dive into your potential and find out. So you can listen live. If you're listening in the replay, come back next week. She will be live again. Or if you have a question and you would like to ask a question, come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, click on the chat room button, and you can join us in the chat room, or you can even call in and ask a question. So in the U.S., you can call 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. So there's so much about this that I'm curious about, and I know we've got people commenting now in the chat room. We have one person says, I've worked with Wendy. She's incredible. Truly removes coding that is no longer compatible with the software I'm running. And I'm sure she's referring to her personal internal software, not a computer.
Yeah.
Unless you're a wizard with computers as well, Wendy.
Yeah, no, that's not possible. Just the mental computer.
Just the mental computer. So do you find, what are you experiencing yourself now in April of 2020 as opposed to, January of 2020? What are you personally experiencing that is actually speaking to you about today's topic?
Well, there's no time like now. Like, in every nanosecond, there is a now, right? But to me, the doors of human awakening, they're amplifying your potential in that you're going to be faced with the blocks that are in the way, so much so that you're going to be incredibly uncomfortable. So if we're looking at where we're at with our globe right now, I couldn't imagine a more uncomfortable space in every way, where we're physically uncomfortable. We're looking at each other, creating and learning a spatial awareness that a lot of people haven't actually even addressed before. We're wondering what's going to happen in the future. We're looking at our money differently. We're looking at our job differently. Some of us are, missing our jobs like crazy and want to be at it. Some of us are hating the fact that, or I shouldn't say hating, they're loving the fact that they're away from their jobs. So they hated their job so much that now they're like, yes, I'm on a break. So we're faced with so many truths about what we really wanted. And if you asked even 10 people, you're going to get 10 different responses as to what this situation in reality means for them right now. And that is what it is. Your potential is now to see what's in front of you, address it as your truth, not with a judgment space of like, that's wrong, it's terrible, it's bad, right? Or good, bad, or indifferent, but from the base of, wow, I finally have an opportunity to really look at this and see what's possible, shifting it into something else so that I can be joyfully happy now. Because we truly don't know if we're going to wake up the next day. Like, we don't know that. Anything could happen and we could not be here tomorrow. So wouldn't it make more sense to be the human potential that you are now and live that way?
Yeah, totally. It's so funny when you say about having a pause. It really, it's like we have a universal pause. Yeah. And there's no more space or opportunity for an excuse. Now, people are avoiding actually looking at the truth with, whatever they're doing under quarantine or isolation. But there really is no more opportunity to avoid it. It's right in front of you. And if you even just start asking a little bit of questions about it, I think you're going to run right into it. What do you think?
Oh, totally. You cannot run right into it. Even just for the simplest things as going grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. Like all the things that come up just about going grocery shopping. It's amazing. You're faced with, okay, so, am I going to go alone? Where am I going to go? Is it going to be crowded? Am I going to subject myself? Should I wear a mask? Should I not wear a mask? Should I wipe down the cart? Right? What should I actually get? Am I preparing for this week to the next week? Like, should I do a 2-week thing or is it a month thing? It's just the level of, it's an infinite questioning of possibility in the moment. And that's just to go grocery shopping, for heaven's sakes.
Exactly. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, like how much we actually are being forced into being incredibly present with everything that's right there. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got lots of people joining us in the chat room. We've got people calling in. This is awesome. We're going to take our first break of the show. And when we get back, we're going to address more questions to Wendy. We're going to learn more about Wendy and about her new show called Crossroads to Awakening with Wendy Paquette here on the Inspired Choices Network. So please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Christine McIver, and I have the pleasure and honor of interviewing and speaking with our newest host here on the network, Wendy Paquette, in her beautiful show, Crossroads to Awakening. Wendy, we've got so much activity in the chat room. It's fantastic. We're having a ball. We have a great question. What's your favorite client story?
Oh, my goodness. Geez, without breaking confidentiality, I have many, but I believe I would say I have two that have been recent. I'll look at those two. One is a gentleman from the UK who had every bit of shyness and aloofness, yet intellect and spontaneity that you could ever want in a client, and didn't really know what was blocking him, but came in with such possibilities and openness that we were able to dive into every little piece that stood in the way and how we did that. So what it makes it so special is that at this moment, this incredible human, we uncovered from his space of wanting to hide and potentially not be completely thrilled with all of the things going on in his world. We uncovered a high intellect with an understanding of the monetary system across the globe, how we can change the world with the monetary system without it being the way it is today. He's looking at politics and the nature of transparency in politics and how to even advertise and market as a politician with honesty. Like all the things that you could ever want to see in a client came about, and not because I addressed it or was asking for it or looking for it, but because that's what was hidden underneath all of his hiding. And it came out from everything he had piled on top of his beautiful spirit from the time he was very young all the way up until obviously his adulthood. So there was layers upon layers upon layers of things that were crushing in his world that caused him to hide from everything. And now I wouldn't be surprised. I wish I could speak his name, because I feel like in the not so distant future, he's going to be out there changing the world, which is incredible. So to be a part of that unveiling, awakening, and those possibilities, just eliminating all of the things that were on top of this magnificent human being, that's inspiring, super inspiring. Wow. He'll change the world by being himself. It's incredible.
Well, what you were doing obviously changed his world, if you assisted in unlocking this within him.
Yeah, I think, well, there gets to be a willingness, right, on his side or on anyone's side. If you don't really love your life, you could not love your life and stay there for the rest of it. Or you could not love your life and be fully committed and willing to do whatever it took to change it. And that openness allows me to read the stuff that's in the way. And through conversation, that's how that occurs. So it comes up like the greatest keys in the world that we have are the fact that we're embodied and that we have the ability to feel emotions. And those emotions are direct information pieces that we can use to change our lives. So everything that isn't working, everything that doesn't feel amazing, or I shouldn't say always amazing, anything over neutral, right? Everything above neutral in the joyful space, keep going. Anything under that, sadness, irritation, frustration, all of those things, hate even so, like all those terrible things underneath that neutral space, those are indicators of possibilities that you have bought a lie about yourself and are living that program. And how do you know is by looking at the source of you being you, and an emotion arrives, it's a negative emotion, and it comes up every single time in a very similar situation. So what that is, a pattern, right? You can identify a pattern when we start looking at it. And that is actually a program. And the program resides in your brain, not in your mind. The mind is much larger, your brain itself, something that you've written. So you may have decided as a child that you are unlovable. And so you spend the rest of your life thinking that you're unlovable. Therefore, never, ever find someone who loves you. Because you've decided from a young age, you decided, you know what, I'm unlovable. It could have been anything. A parent could have said it, or a friend, you know what I mean, saying, I hate you in a moment of fighting over a toy, but you took it for real and wrote that program to be unlovable. Therefore, the rest of your life has written that program. You've lived through it. And the beautiful thing about that is that you can identify, that's a program. Programs can be changed. So yes, you've lived most of your life believing you're unlovable, but that's changeable because we can identify it. So once you change that program, your entire life changes.
So right? How do you know a program can be changed?
Well, that was the gift that I was given in my enlightenment experience. That was the magical thing dropped in. It's an unexplained phenomena that happened to me in a moment. I was gifted the ability to understand our multiverse from a oneness perspective and from a holographic perspective, meaning everything I see is me. Everything I see is me. So all the beauty in the world is a reflection of the beauty inside me. All the horrible things in the world are a reflection of the horrible pieces that I have decided are true about me as well. And so I see myself everywhere, including with the virus, including wars, including everything. There's a piece of me that I'm seeing. What is changeable is when your body has a human emotion response to a situation. So all those things could be true and are because we're living through them. The difference being, I have an emotional response to certain things that get to show me a program that I bought for myself. It's like shopping, right? I bought a program, now it's mine. In my reality, in this holographic world we live in, the law of oneness, which I am living and experiencing right now, means that I can see when something shows up for me, a program that I bought shows up that's a misalignment to source, which is me. And how do I know? Because my emotions tell me so. So if I'm experiencing something negative, that means that program is in a misalignment to source. Well, source is infinite, and I would like to say infinite joy, infinite peace, all the higher frequencies. If it's not aligned with that, that's a lie. And so that's the piece that can be shifted. And once it's shifted, it no longer shows up anymore because you can erase, transmute, eject, or eliminate that program, whatever word you want to use for it. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
I tend to go off on it. I said, how did you identify it? I said, I kind of go off on a tangent with a story. You identify because your emotions tell you so.
That what you shared has me captivated, and I'm sure it has our listeners captivated as well. We've got so many questions and comments in the chat room. It's so cool. One of our comments is, what's the process for eliminating programs?
Yeah. So those are the fun things that we do in the work I do in one-on-one with people because it's an experiential process. Another way, in May, I'll be launching a membership program that I'm going to be teaching this step by step so people can actually walk through it. It's not something that I've taught yet, but I do have some things that you can use to identify and see if you can achieve shifting it for yourself. And so the first thing would be noticing it. Like, wow, this feels crappy. Like, whatever that looks like, this does not feel good. So pausing to identify the emotion that you're feeling. And then looking at the outside world, at the situation that created that feeling, and asking yourself, so if that, whatever that was, so say it's a person, what are they being in that moment that's caused me to feel that negative emotion? So let's use anger. So, put, Joe on the other side. We'll just call it Joe and make up a name. Say, Joe said something that made me feel angry. So my step would be, okay, so I feel angry. Okay. What is Joe being that caused me to feel angry? Well, he's being self-righteous, right? He's got to be right about everything, and that's just really pissing me off. That identification of their rightness or their way of being is my identification of a program I wrote about myself that isn't actually true. So I be source. I am all love, all source, all infinite. Joe says something to me that's self-righteous, like I notice myself getting angry at something that Joe said. I ask myself, what is Joe being? Joe's being self-righteous, and that's what, makes me angry. So right then I have identified that self-righteousness is the lie program that I bought, and I'm living through it. Therefore, I'm going to see self-righteousness everywhere. Everywhere I look. I'm going to see it in politicians. I'm going to see it in bankers. I'm going to see it in teachers. I'm going to see it in friends, family, neighbor. I'm going to see self-righteous everywhere, and it's going to piss me off every time I see it. So that's the identification of the program. How you shift that, that's the piece I get to work through moving forward. But my invitation would be to use whatever you feel in the moment would cause you to know that that is a lie that you bought about yourself, and it's not actually true. And it seems simple just to say it in that way. But if you knew that it was a program and you bought it, and it doesn't matter why you bought it or how you bought it, but that you did, what if you just decided that that program is deleted? So in your mind, take a little stamp that says deleted, stamp it on self-righteousness, take a nice deep breath, connect with your heart, drop into your heart space, take a nice deep breath, and allow yourself to let that go and see what happens. That would be my invitation. Yeah.
I love that invitation.
Yeah, thank you. If it works, beautiful. Because, I mean, there's a million things. I've been doing this regularly since 2014, and I don't stop. And sometimes when I do bigger things, like global things, I can shift those as well. I've gotten down to the space where now I can actually shift full-on religions. Full-on religions, I can, like, gender positioning, you name it. If it's even bigger than a simple identification of a way of being, I can actually see whole groups of frequencies and shift them all at one time. But it's taken me the last 6 years to get really good at it. But it's interesting. It'll change your life in an instant. It's instantaneous manifestation. Instantaneous in your mind, and then it has its own aligning in your life. And it absolutely shows up. And how you know is that those emotions are no longer there. That thing that Joe says that you used to feel is self-righteous disappears, and he'll say the same thing, and you have zero charge on it. Zero emotional charge whatsoever. So it's quite profound, and I can only imagine how it could change so many things and so many people on the planet if they could see their world from this perspective.
Lucky Joe. Lucky Joe. Okay, we are up to our second commercial. This is fantastic. The show is going so quickly, Wendy. So you are listening to Wendy Paquette on her brand new radio show, podcast show, Crossroads to Awakening, here on the Inspired Choices Network. When we get back, we're going to continue to talk with her about her amazing processes and what she's going to be doing here on her weekly show for all of us to enjoy. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Wow, what a fabulous show, Wendy. This is fantastic. So everyone, you are listening to Crossroads to Awakening with Wendy Paquette, and today we're talking about the doors to human awakening are open and amplifying our potential. Okay, so Wendy, when people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
The best way to find me right now would be on my website. It's on wendypaquette.com. That would be the simplest way. Otherwise, on one of the social networks, Facebook, Instagram.
Cool. And you can, of course, can find her here on the network under her show, Crossroads to Awakening. We have all of her social media links. And if you're listening to this in the replay, you'll get all sorts of information about Wendy that you can check her out and connect with her. So, okay, so we had another question in the chat room. How are you using your gifts in a membership site?
Well, that's a great question. The thing I'm asked most is, how can someone else do it for themselves? And so the only way to achieve that is by walking people through the things that I do regularly, from the second that I realized what I was up to, understanding the science of it and moving all the way through the possibilities and the reality so that they can learn to do it too. And then setting goals and targets so that they can achieve these things in a group. We can all be supportive to each other. We can all move things forward. And there's things that I can shift potentially during like a group call. I can shift one person's program. It might actually shift everyone in the group at the same time. At least that's my perception of what's truly possible, is that everyone with the frequency that's very close to the same one we're working with will shift at the exact same time. So I can move a lot of frequencies really quickly in a group setting. And so everyone can learn the technique for themselves, work on themselves, as well as I can work on the things they're having struggles discovering or figuring out. So what I'm looking to create is an army of people that are changing the world right from the space they're in.
Nice. That is so cool. So, Wendy, what's your favorite part about doing what you do?
I feel it's the joy space and a peaceful space that I'm in like 24/7. And I'm sure some of my friends can attest to that. I'm always happy. And I know happy is an interesting word because it's like happenstance, happy. But I am joyful all the time. There isn't anything that really can pull me under. And if I actually run into something, I shift it instantaneously. I don't wait to like mull it over. Although, to be honest, I have on a few of the things that have come up in the last little bit, but they weren't so pressing that I felt the need to shift them instantly. But I literally shift things daily, so that my life can feel amazing on a regular basis. And it's interesting because I've always been hidden. I've not really gone out into the world to talk about what I do, my experiences, any of that nature. And now all the work that I've done up until this point feels like that was what it was all for. Because why do it if you're the only one that's experiencing this type of joy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. So what was it that held you back? Because I'm wondering how many other people are holding themselves back.
You know what? I follow the energy of what's possible. I always say, and my clients know this for sure, I say, follow your nose. Like literally follow your nose. If you're feeling like, this feels like something I should do, then do it. And I asked myself many times and was actually tasked with doing things publicly to seemingly get over something we thought was a block to doing something. I thought, maybe I just get to work through this. But I just couldn't do like Facebook Lives or be out there doing anything like that. It just wouldn't happen. And so following my nose tells me that it wasn't the right time. I got to wait. And I was perfectly okay doing that. It seemed weird. It didn't make sense, but that's exactly what our life is set up to be, because we really don't know the future. So all you can know is the now. So in the moment, if you're feeling that feeling of hold back for a second, and it feels right to hold back, not because an underlying reason, but just because that's what it feels like. And if you go to do it and you can't, have you ever been in that position? I'm sure some of the listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. Where you go to say something to someone, you really want to tell them something, and it won't come out. Mm-hmm. Like your body just will not follow through on that. That is my indicator to not do anything. And I honor that with everything. I have a full-on trust in my sense of understanding and knowing and intuition in a moment as to what to do. So for me, it's easy. I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't supposed to do it, I guess. Now, I guess Facebook Lives weren't the way. It's more on the global stage. Here you go. Not that a Facebook Live couldn't be global, but yeah. So nothing really held me back except my own intuition as to heed it's not time yet. Maybe it's time now.
And so is that something that you would ask every day or just when it would cross your mind?
Well, as an entrepreneur, it was something I would ask myself, if this is what I want to do as a business to support people, shouldn't I be out in the world telling people what I do? So from a business perspective, it made sense to ask it regularly. But I suppose if I wasn't an entrepreneur, I might not be. Because it depends on what you're looking for.
Right. But you had a strong knowing, and you've developed that over time, right? You've been doing this, you've had your awakening since 2014. Mm-hmm. And you've been developing this. Is this something that you think today people can develop even faster with everything that's occurring in the world?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Even just the awareness that we have of ourselves, which is, to me, the most important thing. Because if you're not aware of yourself, how could you possibly be aware of anything else around you? The speed of light, which is what we also are, is how quickly we can step into this awareness and these possibilities. It's not difficult. It's a choice. It really is. Guidance is what gets to be there. I think that's the difference. I didn't have someone telling me what to do and how to do it. And so my intention is to be that for others, going, okay, great, you've tried this. Have you leaned into that? Because I can look back and remember exactly what I did and how I was doing it. And so maybe this is the way.
That's cool. I love that. And I do love that, what you're saying is true about the guidance. I mean, when many of us, have been doing this 10, 20, whatever, however long, there weren't the leaders, the conscious leaders in the world that actually stepped in and started to contribute or be an invitation to us choosing something different. And I mean, I think it's really fortunate for those who are, quote unquote, waking up today and desiring to change something. They really have a huge banquet table available to them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I say anything is possible, I have no limits on that. That is an infinite statement. The things that I would love to see are the things that we don't already look at. Like, what can you create that isn't already here? And it's not a matter of why you or why now. It's a matter of being the unique human that you are. What do you love? And what do you love about it? And why wouldn't you be the one to actually create something that has never been created before? That's what this space is all about. This earth, this planet, and this human nature is about creation. That's why we're here. So moving into these spaces is a really easy choice because you can stay stuck all you want. You can stay there forever. The difference is, will you be happy there? Right? Because you're human. You have the choice.
Right. Will you be happy there? I like the question in the chat room. What is the difference between hesitation and patience?
Hesitation and patience. Hesitations, I would say for me, a hesitation would be, I feel the urge to do it, and then I hold myself back. I feel the urge to do it, then I hold myself back. That's the hesitation. It's the back and forth movement of that. So that's your fears getting in the way. It feels like hesitation is where you get the mind block. It's like you feel the urge to do it, and your mind goes, I don't think you should, and you don't. Right? So it's one of those movements. Patience is infinite. You can be infinitely patient. And when you feel the moment to move, when you trust yourself, there is no denying it. I've had my moment to move. When I'm about to do something, I'll know, and I'll set myself up, and I'll go to do it, and then it'll be like, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. So I'm infinitely patient. And what I do know is that I allow myself that infinite patience, and there comes a moment, and I know this for sure because I've experienced it multiple times, when all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you feel this energy surge, and it's like, go, 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 right? Like you can't, it's like you're running a race and somehow you miss the gunshot at the beginning of the lineup. You're like, shit, okay, and right, you start going. And then it's that clear and that easy to feel it because your emotional guidance system is already working for you. The difference is that you're not paying attention to it. So for me, I'm like, I just get to float through the life. This is how I feel right now. I float through life, following my nose, being a contribution to our society, to our multiverse, and putting things into place in the order that they get to be put into place. When I'm up to something big, I trust that it's not just because I want it, because my head has decided so. It's because my whole beingness is in. It's for the greater good of everything and everyone. And when I get that go, I am on it. Like, there isn't anything that can stop me. And I'm sure that even if you ask my husband, he would tell you so. When I lock myself onto something, it's happening. And there's nothing that stops me. And I don't always know why. I don't have any of those answers, but I also, honestly, I don't care. I just know that my intention being on this planet is good, and it's heartfelt, and it's loving. And so how could it be bad, right? How could what I'm choosing have any, like, horrible connection to it? So I trust that. I really, really trust that.
Oh, my God, that's amazing. You're amazing. I just love all of this. It's fantastic. Okay, we are up to our final break of the show. Please keep the comments coming in the chat room. It's fantastic. And when we get back, we are going to wrap up this very first show with Wendy Paquette. You are listening to Crossroads to Awakening here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back after this break.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Wendy Paquette on her show, Crossroads to Awakening. Wendy, are you enjoying having your own show now?
Oh, my God. You remember I was saying that, go, go, go. That's what it feels like. When I felt it yesterday when I went to bed, knowing that today was the day, I got up. I felt like I levitated out of bed. And I'm thrilled to be the possibility for others to step into their own beautiful awakening, whatever that looks like, because crossroads are that point in your life where you just think that you're stuck and you're really not. You're just at a crossroads. You get to choose something. And the most beautiful part about that is that no choice is wrong. As long as you're choosing from your beautiful soul self, something that you really want, there isn't a wrongness in it. So choose and move forward. And what I say to the people that think that they maybe made a poor choice, it's one of those moments where you don't get to beat yourself up or judge yourself for it or allow anyone else to judge you. You get to look at that and go, wow, what a freaking gift that was. And I won't choose that ever again because it didn't work for me. So what else do I get to choose? Like, what are the other possibilities that maybe I was missing? But what a beautiful gift. So am I loving the show? Yes. Like, I can't wait to do more, honestly. So much more.
It's so cool. So what can people expect from your shows going forward? What are some of the things that you're looking at bringing to the table?
Oh, goodness. Well, there's a lot of really otherworldly things that I'd love to bring into the conversation, things that happen in your world that seem like they shouldn't happen, so miracles, even other worldly things like UFOs. I actually caught a UFO on a video I took once. You know, just when I was in that space of like, oh, I could believe in that, like anything's possible. If it's in my mind, it's obviously possible. Then I took a video of a storm and actually caught one, or so I believe, flying, which is like, nanoseconds through the air. So there's so many different things that we could talk about, which open up possibilities and make all of our problems look way smaller than they really are. Because if those things are truly possible, imagine if you leaned into the vastness of solutions that opening up your mind to those other things could bring you. You could have them dropped into your brain as simply as asking and being open to hearing it. It's really simple. I do it regularly, so sharing my experiences moving forward, talking about all this weird stuff that's ever happened to me, and there is a lot. And I don't often share it. I think before it was for fear of people thinking I'm so weird, but I'm weird anyway, so what's the difference? I'm just okay with it now. I'm okay to talk about it.
You just got into the space of it sounds like really loving who you are and what you're bringing to the table.
Well, and that's what the work that I do actually creates. It creates loving the life that you're living, being in it from that space of sheer possibility and in a space of wonder. It's beautiful. It feels joyful. It really does, even through all the stuff that our world is going through right now. Part of me the old part of me wants to say, wow, don't you feel guilty about being joyful anyway? And the part of me now goes, hell no, I created this. I worked really hard to be in this high vibe space so that I could support others and lift them up too.
Well, Wendy, it's obvious by everybody in the chat room that that's what you have been doing. And that's what you will be continuing to do because of the joy that you are having from it. And this is exciting as can be. And to hear about your experiences and the enlightenment that you have gone through and how we can all learn and grow from you is so appreciated. As I said before, the world really does require conscious leaders like yourself to step up and to show us a much better possibility and one that is filled with excitement and joy and pleasure. And I'm so appreciative of you being here and so excited to hear more, because you and I have been talking for quite a while and never really got into the meat of this conversation until now.
Surprise!
It's a beautiful,
there's so much
surprise
to talk about.
Really
thank you. I look forward to sharing it. And I feel like somehow when people hop onto my site, maybe send me questions. Like asking me questions are the ways to open up the gateway of answers, possibilities, and something new. And I would love to support people from that space. So perhaps moving forward, we'll have people call in and I can walk them through shifting some of their things online. I don't know. What do you think?
Absolutely. Well, I think, why would they want to have some amazing guidance from you? Hello. that would just be too easy. Of course, if you are listening to Wendy's show, she is going to be here every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Inspired Choices Network. You can listen on any one of our 54 live stream platforms around the globe, on your phone or on the internet. And then, of course, it's going to be podcasted all over. You tell us your favorite podcast location. We will likely have her show available for you there so that you can listen live or you can listen on demand, whatever works for you. And Wendy Paquette is now on tap, everyone. You can tap into her anytime you wish.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we'll have to call her something. We'll put a beer tap up.
Exactly. Beer tap on your head. It's so fun. It's so fun. So what do you think you're going to be talking about next week?
I've been asking myself that. And I believe the energy didn't show me anything. I didn't feel anything up until now because the show's just getting its wings and out to fly. And I feel like it'll be a surprise. I really feel that way. There isn't anything that's dropping it as an absolute topic, but I feel like the energy going out from the show and touching those it gets to touch will bring me what they're asking for. And so it will be a surprise to not only everyone who pops on next week, but to me as well. So that'll be great.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And it really is demonstrating you do follow the nudges. You do follow your intuition and show up brilliantly, which is the demonstration of what you've shown us today, which is fantastic. It really, really is. So, Wendy, one more time, where can people connect with you? Can you give everybody your website and your email address, please?
For sure. It's wendypaquette.com, and it's WendyPaquette.com, so wendypaquette.com. And my email, I think you can hop on there on my website and send me a note. There's 2 places on there where you can reach me on there, so that would be the easiest way. I look forward to reading everything. I want questions galore, girl.
That's a wrap. Come back next week. We'll be talking with Wendy again. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey, and we'll meet you at